Okay, I heard you. I heard the 11 of you, I'm not kidding, who said, Reverend Lezli, can we have a light talk? I mean, I appreciate that we've talked about authenticity and your own voice and how to set boundaries and how to deal with trauma and how to lay out expectations for how people can serve you when you're in trauma. And yes, thank you for all of that. Could we have a funny one? And so here's my attempt. And I want to give thanks to the quite a number of y'all who read in the newsletter what this talk was going to be about and sent me quotes and poems and stories. Do not be surprised if some of those have landed in this message because they were good. They were good. Today's talk is called Joy for Joy's Sake. Joy for Joy's Sake. And it's been a little bit of a rough summer in the world. Yeah? Whew. There's stuff going on. California's on fire again. Politics are politicking. And as the election comes closer, it just politics its way right in, doesn't it? We've had illnesses here in the community that are difficult to walk through, though everyone is doing better as I speak to them this weekend. And it's 100 bajillion degrees outside for those of us who are living in the greater Phoenix area. Life can throw some curveballs at us. And then there's this other piece, which is that joy is a spiritual quality. When we list out the big 12 spiritual qualities, there's joy in the middle of it. And so if we seek to be fully expressed spiritual beings, which generally we do around here, joy is a big piece of it. And so I did what I often do, and I went to Ernest Holmes, the founder of our teaching, those writings, to see what he had to say about it, to guide me in this movement from these deep, serious talks we've been having into something a little bit more fun. And this is what Ernest Holmes said. If we gaze longingly at joy, it will make its home with us, and we shall enter its portals and be happy. Doesn't that just feel like the truth? The spiritual truth. And then, woof, here comes another curveball. And boom, there we are right off our spiritual center. So I'm coming to you, my beloveds, with 3 ways we can anchor joy consciously in our lives. And the first one is play dates. Play dates. There are people who light you up on the inside. So in case you didn't catch that newsletter, I talked about one of my bright, shining memories of childhood. So my lifelong bestie is my Aunt Chrissy, who's 1 year older than me, which is a sign that you are Catholic and grew up in Iowa. One of those big families that stretches across generations. And Chrissy lived on the farm, my mom's parents' farm in Iowa, and they had a swimming pool. Oh, now, that might not be such a big deal to the beloveds here who are in Phoenix, where you either have a pool or you have a friend with a pool or you don't make it through the summer. But people just didn't have swimming pools in Iowa. This was a big deal. So every weekend, we would drive, about a 30-minute drive, to the farm, and we would go to church together as a family, and then we would have dinner together as a family, and then if the weather was right, it's swimming pool time. And it was an above-ground pool, so the water wasn't terribly deep, but we were kids and we didn't care. And did we practice our relay swimming? No. Did we practice anything useful? No. We did synchronized swimming. And it is really important that I assure you that there was nothing synchronized and very little swimming. It was the water version of the let's put on a show. And I think it's safe to say that it was many weeks, every summer for several years, synchronized flailing. but we had fun. Oh, we had fun. We had so much fun that a couple of years ago, when Chrissy and I went on a girls' trip together to a spa, as girls do, we found ourselves in the pool. And what did we do? We recorded a few minutes, well, probably 30 seconds, of some synchronized flailing to send to Jackie, my other aunt, to say, nah, you're not here. Which was as funny as the swimming. Why do I wait years in between girls' trips with Chrissy? It's not hard. It's not hard to make a plan and do it. She lives in Iowa. I live here. There are these amazing things. I don't know if you've heard of them. They fly in the sky. And you can get on them and go places. But am I consistent about it? No, I'm very busy. I'm a very busy person. Anybody busy? Right? I'll do it when I'm less busy. Anybody ever get to the less busy part? No, it never happens. That same person that I did synchronized dances in the wintertime to Thriller, right? The same person that I did synchronized swimming with, the same person that we attempted magic tricks that we were not good at this, is the same person that can have me laughing so hard on the phone that, gentlemen, close your ears. Ladies, I need new pants. Gentlemen can listen again. When we make the space for the people that really light us up on the inside, we're doing a thing that I think we forget to notice. See, our teaching tells us that following your intuition is a good thing, right? Those people who light us up, that feeling tone on the inside of us, is our intuition saying, more of this, please. More of this person, please. More of this kind of activity, please. My heart needs it. Your heart needs it. Saying yes to the things that bring us great amounts of joy is actually following your religion. We don't have very many rules around here, but that's one of them. Listen to your intuition and follow where your gut is carrying you. Isn't that delightful? Making time for yourself and for the things that light your heart up is choosing you. And I think that's part of why we have a hard time with it. Because we live in a culture that's saturated with this idea that putting yourself first is bad, that it's selfish. But when you put yourself first, when I put myself first, I am more kind, more joyful, more lit up, more creative, more able to do the things I want to do because I'm fed on the inside. Choosing yourself is a good thing. Choosing yourself is a healthy thing because what flows from that is more naturally being able to support the people around us and the people around them and the community and beyond. Choose yourself. Make play dates and keep them. The second thing I'm going to invite us to consider, stay with me here, friends, is to be bad at stuff and do it anyway. Despite the fact that I am an exceptional synchronized swimmer, there are some things that I am not that great at. There's lots of stuff I'm good at. That's easy to do, right? Have you ever seen me turn down a crochet project? No, because I'm really good at it and I'm fast and it's easy and it's joyful and yay. And then there are things that I am bad at. I have this memory, it probably happened 1,000 times, but there's one particular time I remember coming home after, it was in high school, after a particularly tough dance practice. Now, I love dance. Was never really that great at it. Was good enough to hang, but I was one of those that was pulled aside in my early teen years and advised to maybe let go of the ballet dreams and move towards musical theater. because I was never going to hack it as a dancer professionally. Not even close, friends. But I loved it. And so I was on my dance team in high school and college, and I would come home from these practices. They're hard, and maybe I didn't do so great, and I'm a little dejected. And my mom would always ask one question, the same question. But did you have fun? But did you have fun? I always had fun. That's why I did it. It was so fun. And it's easy to lose track of the question, but did I have fun? Oh, I had fun. Having fun is enough. I've got a slide of some examples of people who were having fun, drawing or painting or baking or doing CrossFit. It seems like that gal found a new way to do CrossFit for a moment. When we quit things because we're not good at them. How many times have you run across that? Oh, I painted for a while, and that was a really good time, but I never got any good at it, so I gave it up. Oh, it hurts my heart a little bit. See, we have this thing we've done where we think, we being the culture at large, and darn near all of us, most of us, where we think everything we do has to be productive. Or a hobby's only worth doing if it's saleable. You could start a business with that. If it's giftable, if it's good enough, is the only time it's worth doing. Yep, I'm going to say this. Capitalism is an economic system. We're pretty good at it here in the United States, this capitalism thing. But do you know what capitalism isn't? A life philosophy. Here in the United States, we've made capitalism a life philosophy. And what happens when we do that is it's only worth doing something if it is productive, if it makes something valuable or necessary. But joy is necessary. Even if your beautiful Easter lamb cake looks like, could you put that slide back up for me, the one with the pictures? Even if your Easter lamb cake looks like that top one there. I saw what that cake was supposed to look like. It wasn't that. But I'm willing to believe that person had a really good time, both actually doing the art of baking, which they must like to make that cake, and also, if it were me and I made a cake and it turned out like that, you would have to come pick me up off the kitchen floor. I would be laughing so hard. And that's worth the time and energy put in, even though I'm not sure that is a lamb. We can take that slide down now. Thank you. Fun is good for us, even if it is not productive. Okay, I'm going to read through this because I don't want to miss anything. It improves mood because it causes the release of dopamine. It increases resilience and ability to move forward through difficult times. It improves our focus. It improves our sleep. It improves our attention. It improves our brain's ability to learn new things, even if what we're doing for our fun is demonstrating that we, in fact, have not learned how to make an Easter lamb cake that looks like an Easter lamb cake. It is valuable and healthy and good for us to do things that we're bad at if they are fun for us. So I am inviting lots of stories and pictures of things that have been really fun and maybe we haven't been that gifted at. If you're having fun doing it, it's worth doing. And then the last thing I'm going to invite us to play with this is embracing silliness. Clearly not a challenge I have. Embracing silliness. Now, Frank, our music director, Frank, sent me this amazing quote from Paul Pearsall, who was an American therapist, a psychologist, and an author. He wrote 17 books. And he says this: the word silly derives from the Greek selig, meaning blessed. There's something sacred in being able to be silly. Oh, thank goodness. This is very good news for me. Solemnness is not the same thing as spiritual. Serious is not the same thing as spiritual. Spirituality and depth can be solemn, and they can be serious, and they can be silly, and they can be lighthearted. You know, when Reverend Karen and I came to the community with the idea that perhaps we would go from being short-timers, you know, the ones to keep the balls in the air while we did a ministerial search, and we moved towards perhaps being permanent ministers here, there were a couple of voices in the community that said things like, maybe Reverend Lezli would be better off as a youth minister because she's so young. Or so silly. We can't pretend I'm not an entertainer. I obviously love it up here. It is true that the occasional joke will slip out, 1 to 18 per service. But there is depth in that lightness. It's true for me, and it's true for you. Some of your deepest moments might be right in the heart of laughing so hard you fell down. Joy is a spiritual quality, and we deserve to live it. Being too serious can actually get in the way of our connecting to the spirit within. It's pushing that piece of ourselves away interferes with our ability to connect with the divine in its joy quality. I invite you to really look for the silly little gems that show up in your life. Not that long ago, I met someone for the first time, and we're doing the little first time chit-chat thing, you know? And she tells me, I swear to God, I'm not making this up, she tells me that she loves to be in the swimming pool, and I say, I love to be in the swimming pool, and she's like, I used to be in the pool all the time. I'm thinking about, you know, maybe getting into that pool more often. And I'm like, I'm in that thing every single moment I can be. I love the swimming pool. And she says, where's Mark Arnold? She says, I have a blow-up unicorn floaty. Now, those of you who've been around a while know that there's a photo that occasionally pops up on this screen of me on a blow-up unicorn floaty in Rick and Jolene's pool, laughing hysterically, and I'm just about to fall off. This person's my new best friend. Because she was willing to own the unicorn floaty story, as was I. Sometimes in the silliness, we find our soul partners, the people who we would have walked right by in a store or a restaurant and never known the truth, but you're willing to share that silly part of yourself, and now there's this bond forever. I invite you to look for those moments, those glimmers. It lights us up from the inside. And finally, to kind of lock all this in for us, we've heard from an American psychologist, we've heard from a philosopher. We're hearing from God, God's calling, which is amazing. But let's check in with what a 14th century Islamic poet might have had to say on this topic. This is Hafiz. I sometimes forget that I was created for joy. My mind is too busy, my heart is too heavy for me to remember that I have been called to dance the sacred dance of life. I was created to smile, to love, to be lifted up and to lift others up. O sacred one, untangle my feet from all that ensnares. Free my soul that we may dance and that our dancing might be contagious. So this is the invitation this week. Make a play date. Do something you love to do, whether you're good at it or not. and embrace that place of play and silliness that connects you with the joy that has always been right at the center of who you are. And so it is. And I hope that was light enough for y'all. Let's lock it in prayer. How good it is to remember that there is this presence of joy right in the center of who we each are, that is indwelling spirit, that the allness of life shows up in, through, and as each beloved within the sound of my voice, because it is at the heart of everyone everywhere. How good it is to rest in the love and the peace of that one that we call the divine. And what I know is that whatever is on the hearts of everyone who hears this prayer, that Spirit is already supporting you. That Spirit is already finding the deep and beautiful solution, the elegant path forward that serves all beings. That whether we desire more peace, more health and wholeness, more joy, more power, more abundance, that the divine says yes. So grateful I am to know this truth and to call it good and very good. And we claim it together as we say, and so it is.